Key, joined here with Darth Beaver and also with Delgarn. And we're going to go ahead and really focus on and just, sticking to the spirit of the theme of, what's going on with New Year's. We are going to go ahead and recap Marvel Strike Force 2022 and really dive down deep into, just our general roundtable discussions about what our best three characters, worst three characters, 2 to 3 characters, go into the best events, the worst events, and then we'll kind of wrap everything up with our predictions for 2023. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the content here that we want to share our discussions with you all. Hope you guys are having a wonderful New Year's and enjoying your time with your family and friends. And but yeah, we'll get the show going. How are you doing, Dar?
Oh, I'm doing very well. I'm doing very well. Happy New Year.
Yeah, man. And Dale, how are you doing, Dale? Yes. All right. Well, first, before we jump into the 2022, I want to jump into the gameplay first and just kind of because I'm real curious about what you gentlemen have been doing with your current day-to-day stuff. I haven't gone in deep about, talking about this recently, but things have changed a little bit. I mean, we have new campaigns as far as like on the hero side, and the villains, and I think on the latest blog post he talked about adding some other chapters or something there. And honestly, I didn't dive too deep into it. I just kind of discovered it through. But I just want to know about the farming. And I know Dale brought this up within our alliance here, and I just wanted to kind of again talk it out with you guys. One is like on your daily. I'm gonna talk about mine first, and then you can kind of walk me through, see if you do something different. But on my day to day, when I'm going into my campaign energy, I'm focusing on this particular character. I want to get the Spider Woman. I'm trying to get her up to 300. And this node in particular is the one I want to bring up that Dale also brought up. And this is the current only node that actually gives you some of these gold orb fragments. So I do max that out. So those are the two right here on this particular campaign. And then I jump over here over to Prior as I'm trying to get her close to 300. Um and then that's really, and then other than that, I mean, those are the real focuses on. And then I just throughout the day with my energy, I just kind of go in between and just work on till gear. Is there anything that you guys do differently in regards to y'all's campaign energy or what you're focusing on?
Me, no. That's almost identical to what I do. I don't focus on that node with the gold orb pieces because I'm really focused on currently right now I'm trying to get mystic teal pieces. So every place that has a mystic teal gear, I usually farm that all the way through. And that's because I didn't 3-star my mystic nodes on the Guardian campaign. That's almost over now, that Guardians event that has all the teal gear. But I did 3-star node 7, which has all the mutant gear. So I've been focus farming tons of teal mutant gear out of the Guardians campaign, um, which means I don't need to focus it as much in the regular campaign, and I need to catch back up on my mystic gear, which is the secondary thing that I'm focusing on now. But it's all in the hard nodes, not a bit of energy I spend anymore. Oh, that's a lie. I still don't have Doctor Voodoo. I am 9 shards away from 7-starring Doctor Voodoo. So I do 100 energy a day on Doctor Voodoo, but everything else is done in the hard campaigns because of the training material output.
Yeah. How about you, Dale? I mean, kind of same thing you're focusing
Yep,
on, or you got
I'm the
something different?
same. I'm the same. I finished working on this node, but I would bring this up for people who need it. The node, and I think it's heroes or villain hard for arcane dust gives you ×8.
Oh yeah,
Oh, if you're for a long time, that was a hard crunch for me. So doing that
The
gives you about 20 per day.
the little baggies.
Yeah.
yeah. That's another good point. Yeah, for those that are still looking for it, because yeah, I know which one you're talking about. I can't remember. I'm trying to find it here. If it's on the villains or if it's on the heroes one, I can't. No, there it is.
There it
There
is.
it is.
Yeah, this is it. So it's on the one Heroes 1-5. Yeah, 8 times. That was, yeah, that was a difference maker. So that's definitely one. So now I got myself into 2000s on that one. So, but I kind of stopped. It's weird. Once I get over 1500 on any of these kind of gold uniques, um, I get over 1500, I kind of slow it and go somewhere else. And right now I've been focusing on the till. All right.
Damn, you get 1500.
Yeah. You know, I see. We'll talk about hoarding. That's some of the stuff to kind of come about the whole 2022 review about hoarding. I have to add to hoarding habits, which is kind of interesting. All right. But yeah, I was just kind of curious about that. And then I guess I wanted to go into this other farming as far as on the store. Um, I'm not gonna touch base too much on the main part, but it's really over here on the Cosmic Crucible side because I mean these to me these are the new valuable pieces as far as the Crucible credits. And I love the addition as far as what they did with the characters here. I was able to get my Gambit all the way up now, got Hulkbuster all the way up. So now I've been focusing on Abomination. Not that's probably the proper order, but I just did that because I was closest to 300 for those front two characters.
It's the exact order I did it. I've
Yeah,
got my Gambit at 7-star. I'm almost done with my Hulkbuster, and then I'll finish up Abomination.
yeah. So that's where I'm using these particular gold ones. I'm not shopping the orbs yet. I'm kind of impatient, patiently being, I'm trying to get this abomination first, but I do, definitely want to go back to opening these up so I can try to get some of the other characters all the way up to that level 17. Um, but the other side of it is going to be in regards to the silver credits. And this is the only one that I'm farming right here. It's just whatever falls into line for this particular piece for the mutant and mystic area. That's what I'm shooting for. Are you guys kind of doing the same habits on this one, Darth? That's,
Yes. Yeah, I'm almost buying any of the 17s that I see in the gold store, unless they're skill or tech.
yeah. You too, Dell?
Yep.
Okay. Okay, cool. All right, well, we'll step away from all of that. I mean, that was just kind of touching base again on the farming. Now, as far as events, um, yeah, I mean, we just ended the coordinated assault. We are able to go ahead and clear that as an alliance. So we definitely went through that. That's going to be I guess the norm on the blog post to talk about that
Show it.
coming up. And you know what? You want me to show it? I'm not going to show it.
I want you to show it.
All right, I'll let you talk
There you
about it.
go. I want you to see that. No, because you guys need your flowers. 9,000 points is ridiculous. Both of you guys are crazy. I tried to bring this up in chat, but it sounds the same. I really appreciate it, and I sure as hell hope the rest of our alliance really appreciates that because I understand fully that that is not free to play.
Yeah.
If it is, it's with tons of hoarding.
Yeah, let's talk
And
about that because that's kind of look. I'm gonna show you something. Because you're bringing it up, and I'll let you keep going on that. But I just want to show you something
I
before I
appreciate it.
forget.
The event is lame. The event is stupid, and I hate it. And you guys make it bearable. Oh, you didn't do it yet.
Yeah, I was
You
about
didn't
to
have to
say.
either.
Yeah, I didn't do it.
Mine is okay.
I didn't get it
Mine.
either.
Oh, you didn't. All right. Then you guys are just that much better than me, and that makes you even cooler than before.
It was saving the bottom ones before the event started. And then it was pretty much just 50 recourse. I don't think I did anything besides that.
I must have missed some because I came up short, and I thought that's what I did. And then hearing what other guys had to say that they did the same thing and were coming up a little short of the average. I was like, wow, how can that be a thing? They must have just missed a bunch of free energy or something,
No, it's
which is fine.
weird.
But anyway, I
Yeah.
hate the event, and you guys are awesome. I don't ever expect anybody to do better than me as far as participation and what they put forth. And man, I notice, and you guys are great. So thanks for that. Because the rewards are so stupid, like they're necessary in coordinated assault. I need those T4 ions. I just do. I need tons of them, and so do you, and so does everybody else.
Yeah. No, not a problem. I mean, it's one of those things, and I think they'll kind of share the same sentiment. It's just like whatever we can do to kind of get our alliance all together. And it's not. I think for me, I don't get bothered, by any that don't have the time into it. Like we're not that type of alliance, and I think that's the most part. Is just that we were that in between casual to competitive side, but it's nothing like to really tap guys for. And I've heard that from certain alliances. I get out there and things can get kind of sour and stuff. But whatever I can do to help out others, I mean that's kind of where I'm coming from. Um, but this really kind of like Dell broke it down there. What I've noticed, it's all about timing. It's about like being patient to wait for the right time to spend that ISO energy that you get in that particular what is it called?
That
The
day.
strike pass. Yeah.
Mhm.
And then even on that, I mean, that was part of the farming. That's why I brought up the farming because over here, on the daily of purchasing, the clock starts today or yesterday in regards to not using up this credit right here, right? And then you just save it and let it, try to get up to the 500 level. I think it gets capped off at. Yeah, so I'm at 150 of 500. Um, I don't know. Yeah, I am 150 out of 500. So yeah, so I'm already starting that, and now with the news coming up, so basically you just, and it's weird. It's like it's so meticulous. Like, because once the event drops, you want to go ahead and make sure that you're spending the 50s first before you started going into this particular resource. It's just a weird management, and that's a whole other story. But I mean, I think when you do it right and when you start figuring it out through the third try here, I think I started understanding how to use that resource properly, I guess if you want to call it that. But it's tedious.
You
Um,
have to be on top of your game. You've literally got to log in, within 2 or 3 hours after all the energy drops. You've got to do that requires a level of insanity. I'll say it because I do it. It requires a small level of absolute dedication and addiction to this game, which I have.
mhm.
And it's hard to ask everybody in our alliance to do that
Yeah.
because some of our guys are super important in real life and have really important jobs. They don't cut big rectangles into little rectangles, so they've got far more weight on their shoulders during the day than some of us do. So I love our alliance because of that, because it is that casual competitive where we want to do everything and we try really hard, but we don't get our panties in a bunch over it if it doesn't happen, and we don't tag guys who aren't doing as well and name drop and try to place blame on anybody, which I absolutely love and do my best to try to avoid.
Yeah. But then I want to jump over here to this one in particular, this gift wrap gala. For me personally, I'm not even paying attention to it. I mean, I forget. I guess this is part of the Lions credits.
Mhm.
So I personally been using the whole 100. I haven't done any math. I'm kind of tired about these events in which to really break down math and figure out what's the proper way into it. I don't even watch those videos anymore. I just go about it within my individual same sentiment as far as on that coordinated assault. I go max effort as far as whatever I can give to Lions. I'm going to do it. So I've been doing that piece of it, and I really don't know. Do you know, Darth, or I guess what you dealt with some of the videos? I mean, this is the target right here, right? We're trying to get to milestone 25,
Yeah, that's the target.
and we got three
Well,
days. I mean, have y'all looked at this enough to know, are we gonna get this piece at the pace we're going?
yes,
Okay.
I
yes,
think so. I'm doing about 100 cores myself. I really
we're
don't know what you should be doing. But yeah, I think I should be, because I think we should be on track for the piece if you do 100 per day.
okay. So we're just about exactly halfway through the event, and this was an event that you couldn't hoard anything up extra for. I don't believe.
No.
You could,
We couldn't. You could hoard up campaign energy. So
yeah.
okay, so I'll go off mine. I've done the 50 refreshes on energy since it started, not a whole bunch more. And I'm gonna look at mine right now in the gift wrap, and I have 59,328 points. So I'm 3,000 points behind Mookie. But if I double that, or let's say even add 30% to it, then I'm up to 90k. And I only need to be at 93k to get the beanie. So that's only half more of what I already have. So if I've spent 3.5 days to get 60,000, it should only take me max 2 days to get the other to get 30,000 more. As long as everybody in the alliance keeps doing it and we collect that third box. So I see myself personally collecting the beanie and maybe the one after it.
Okay. And you're kind of on the same path, Dell.
I think so. I may get a little further, but it looks like that.
Are you shooting for
Yeah,
something further? Are you shooting for something like this, the costume?
nothing really. I had difficult spending the last. My silver credits were getting, my credits were getting high. There's not really much out there in the custom store I really want.
Yeah. Yeah.
Those credits right there, those silver credits, those are for the Christmas costume. So if you unlocked Groot last year and you unlocked Drac last year, that's credits that you can use eventually because they'll turn.
Yeah,
Those aren't the Iron Man credits. The Iron Man credits are in the Strike Pass.
which I don't really care for.
Nope, don't. It's a worse. It's a worse costume.
Okay. All right. And I guess, yeah, and this whole event right here, I don't even know what this is about. Is this like a spending one?
Any money.
Yes, yes, that's a spending event.
Yeah. Okay. I won't even.
Yeah, I don't mind the orbs on the right, and I'd like to open one of those orbs on the left. I don't know if I'm going to spend enough money to do it.
Yeah, but
But
even the
the
counter offer they had didn't seem worth it. That was only
yeah,
$5.
I did buy that just
Mhm.
so I could open an extra orb or whatever it turns out to be. I did buy their calendar.
And orbs are decent, but yeah, you don't really
Right.
get them. They let you spend.
I've opened two, and one of them had 50 50 Kate Bishop shards in it, and my Kate Bishop is maxed, but I was still impressed that there were 50 shards of a this year character in it.
Yeah.
And then the other one was 20 Nakia shards. And I'll take all the Nakia shards I can get, man. I'm trying to pump her to 7 stars as fast as possible so I can light up that 7th red.
Yeah,
So
I know,
I've been
I know you're chasing her. And real quick on Nakia, because well, she was on my um promotion store. To get to 6, would you have pulled a trigger and got in her? Like, if you were in my shoes, would you up her to a red, 6 red?
is the rest of your Wakanda pretty high red stars?
Not really.
If the answer to oh, see, mine is everything on my Wakanda is 6 or 7.
Yeah, it's only my Black
So
Panther, the OG Black Panther.
okay, so see, I pulled the Koye to 6, and then I promoted 1 million and both of the Black Panthers I promoted to 6 red stars with credits, and then I pulled the other two as 7. Shuri and Naki I pulled as 7s. So yeah, I went all in on that.
Yeah.
That 6 red star on 1 million though, that actually meant something. I started deleting people with his ultimate.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't wait to get there. I pulled that the other week.
Yeah, I saw that. That was a great pull.
Yeah.
Well, the only reason I'm there is because I got lucky with the with his orbs. You guys, I pulled a 180 on his orbs one day.
Mm-hmm. And that's the segue. And then you know what? We're talking about the Wakandans, so let's jump about what they really came useful for. If we still have it on here, I don't know if it's still gonna show it. Hopefully
I
it
think it's gone.
does. It's gone.
Nope, it's gone.
Shit.
The War Dogs were actually the team that made it through 5 and 10 for me. They were the reason that I got to get a reason the score I got.
Yeah. So this right here, this is your score, Darth.
Yeah,
And if I were to open up at the time, that's actually where you
yep.
fell into it when you did that one. Was that your final run?
That was the last one I was able to complete. Yes, and I wound up at 520.
Mm-mm.
So we went hard. Now I did okay. I had a lot of fun with the event again. So 3 out of the 4 scourges I had way too much fun with. Um, they're they're one of the most fun modes of the game that we've gotten, and I hope we get something similar to it in the future for legendary releases.
Imagine we're going to. I think it does much better for them than the old legendary system.
Yeah, I heard a counter argument to that this week, but I don't know. I'm not so sure. I'd have to actually see their spending numbers. Oh, and there he is.
Yeah. So
See, and that doesn't have a name attached, but also his name is Fearic Victory, and he is my favorite Scourge mate because he is as competitive as I am, and he pushes me in every Scourge and makes the Scourge event as enjoyable as it is. Not that anybody else doesn't do it, because we had some other guys push me as well. But look at that, 436, top 500. Our boy got 7 red star legendary unlocked first time through, and that is an accomplishment. And so there's your flowers, dude. You are better than me at Death Scourge.
yeah, man, that's exactly how I felt y'all two going at it when he shared that gift. And I'm just on the outside, and then when I see gifts like this, I mean, this is me in the background when I'm watching y'all. I'm just shaking my head. But yeah, kudos to both of y'all, man. Y'all, it was entertaining for. I mean, on the outside looking in, it was definitely entertaining watching y'all doing that. It was just a lot of respect, and I mean, I just can go on and on about just how amazing y'all's run was. I mean, I try to jump in there. I just, for me personally, within the game mode, not that I dislike it, you have to have it be in a different mindset of like focus and determination. I guess it's the best word I can say, of like just being determined and patient to kind of get the right RNG in some ways, but the right target order and kill order and stuff like that. And once you kind of map it out, I can see where it becomes, I don't know if you want to call it addiction, but as far as like kind of fixated on trying to get the top score each time because you start understanding the runs. I just never got to that level, or I just didn't have the time to get into it that way. But But it did, you know, I mean, it pushed me to do a second run. Normally, I just try to go 1.5 runs, but I probably did 3 runs off of it. I ran out of time at the end to try to get to the over the 2.5 mil mark, I think is what I was targeting. But kudos, man. I guess just to kind of close out on that, as far as was there any particular nodes or like I guess any final talks that you have, Darth, as far as the run that was of annoyance, or what was like the hurdle, like the obstacle that you're running into?
Zombification was the hurdle for me. That was the hardest Scourge. That was the one I put on at the end, and I did complete it with that Scourge on with everything else.
Hmm.
It was the Scourges that were that last hurdle. But like as far as characters are concerned, in order for me to complete my non-legendary mutant nodes, I had to bring up a couple members of my X-Force because on my last run I left Maria Hill and she was soloing the teams I had left. So that was the choke point for me, and I could see where that non-legendary mutants could be the choke point for lots of people.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna bring up Ultimate Chaos, who's on the stream here. He brought up something that maybe you can translate this, Darth. He's talking about the Scourge format, that maybe they'll implement a Scourge format to the Horde, or maybe he meant Horde mode. He put Horde mode modifiers for never-ending waves. Sounds beautiful.
Yeah, Horde mode is a mode that was deleted a couple months ago, I think, where it's like never ending swarm. You basically kill things until you die.
Mm.
Or that way, other games have that.
Yeah, it was deleted. It had like Nick Fury linked to it. Like he's like leading the story of it, I think,
Mm.
from what I remember. But it's been a few months since that's been leaked.
Okay. Well, yeah, that's something we can add on to the 2023 predictions. Okay.
We get a new game mode.
Yeah, so that's something interesting. Chaos. All right. Well, I don't think. I mean, anything else you want to add about the Scourge there? Just, I mean, it was a good recap, right? I mean, that was the fourth one, the final one of this Apocalypse saga. Of course, I mean, they'll have some second runs out of it, but overall, how would you grade this one from the other 3 that came out? Like, was this one your favorite? Did it? Because I remember
War
correctly,
Scourge was still my favorite.
it is the Red Hulk one? Okay.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that one. But this Scourge it was definitely second for me. I mean, see, the community lost their minds when they heard the minions, and then didn't realize that the minions, if they were silly like me, the minions that they had built would be just fine. So if they had invested into Ravagers a year ago, and if they had invested into the old Taskmaster Merc team, they were ready to go. They didn't have to move any more minions up.
Mhm.
I do feel bad for people that skipped Ravagers, because it just made it for a lot more resource suck than you had to have. So I can see how people who didn't already spend the resources felt extra pressure and extra weight far more than I did because of how I had treated my roster previously.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's the problem for newer players and players who did not bring up the minions. They had to bring up minions.
Yeah.
So it was a huge cost sink for useless characters.
Yeah. All right.
I mean, Ravagers are okay because they can use them in 2 different Scourges, and they're okay war team, but they don't do anything crazy.
No. And that's another little segue that we'll kind of transition into our next conversation here. It's going to be about the review. We're going to jump into just reviewing Marvel Strike Force 2022, and I'm gonna start off with this little video. I started doing little editings last night because I really like the topics that you were thinking about for us, Darth. So with that, I mean, here we'll kind of transition and talk through this. But when I was going through timeline, I had to go ahead and do some research for the show here, and this was the end of 2021. This was the team that really ended last year. When I looked at it, I saw it. I mean, it was the Web Warriors, and they came into the page for us. And they became the feature raid character for Doom 3 raids. So, the irony behind that is that when I started, looking into it and looked at the current characters of 2022, lo and behold, what closes out 2022 is this team, the Rebirth team. And they are the new bio raid team, similar to what the Web Warriors was supposed to be. And but this is what's moving forward for us. So we're still working on unlocking these characters. Agent is the one that's more recently coming out, and it's gonna be that month-long character that was introduced on the blog post on Friday. What was interesting, you talked about the Ravengers. So the first character that actually comes up as the character of 2022 is this guy up on the upper left-hand corner, Star-Lord T'Challa. And the two of us, or the three of us, we're all kind of discussing amongst ourselves what are the top characters, and that's what we're going to lead in with. I mean, so I was just kind of breaking down as far as on what ended last year in 2021 with the Web Warriors. This year, we're winding it down with the Rebirth team. But in between of all of that, we had a sleuth of characters. I was counting 38 total characters, is what I believe got released. Maybe it could have been 40.
That sounds right.
Yeah, so it's 38. I mean, these are the characters on this first screenshot. They don't have any silhouettes. I couldn't find anything where I can put all 38 all together, because what's missing here at the bottom of this more recent silhouette there is like the, what is it, the Wakandans. I mean, no, there's Tangleweb. So we're missing like Zombie Iron Man. We're missing the Kia 1mm with the Black Panther. Nemesis. So we're missing the Death Seeds and the Rebirth all on this image, and also, well, there's Mr. Negative right there. So I'll go ahead and let you, Dart, kind of start off with then, just kind of discussing your favorite characters of 2022. Who do you have on your list as the top 3 characters?
Yes, that's number one. How appropriate was that? That was Spider Weaver on the screen. She was my top character release of the year and my favorite character that was released this year that I get to play with. She's been damn close to the most impactful character in the game. The most impactful character that was not a horseman.
All right.
She's an arena meta. She's a crucible meta. Her kit is very unique and very irritating, which makes her a lot of fun to play with and terrible to play against.
Yeah, and amongst our conversation, you were asking about should you, jump away from the horseman teams, and as far as like the individual horseman teams that they have out there, and just skip outside the box and go with Spider Weaver and jumping her up to 17, and you did take that jump, right? Yeah,
And then I noticed Dell did it right after me.
Yeah. I don't think, honestly, any of us are going to get big apocalypse.
Not close.
So we're not going to need the gear 17 on the whole teams right away.
Yeah. I'm going to take that plunge too. I'm 2 pieces away from doing the same as you guys. But yeah, she was on my list. I mean, you kind of broke it down. I mean, how about you, Dell? Did she make your top 3 character?
Yeah, she's definitely in the top 3.
Okay. All right, then we'll move over and we'll just kind of jump down into the next one off. We'll kind of walk off view here. Dart, so what's your second one on your list?
But my second one is Gambit. Gambit, again, he's got that unique mechanic. It's not unique, but it's super deadly where when you take a turn, or when the enemy takes a turn, Gambit pings their weakest enemy who's not in stealth. That's a crazy good mechanic. And his damage output is huge. He's the next character I'm taking to 17. I'm waiting for one more teal mutant piece, and he'll be at 17 as well. Like I said, his damage output was too good. His healing on his retaliate is out of sight. You could have a dead Gambit in stealth, and then he ultimates, and then he's full health again and still in stealth, and now you're as screwed as you were before because their damage output is just going to continue. I think he's one because of his retaliate. His DPS is one of the highest in the game.
Yeah. And how about for you, Dale? Who do you have? Do you have someone different, or did he make your top 3?
Gambit made my top 3.
Nice.
I actually brought him up to gear 17 during the Death Scourge. I tried to help through that mutant lane. I also brought his ISO up to 4. So, yeah, he's definitely really good. Now that he's in the Scourge store, he's easy to bring up.
Yeah, no, he is. Yeah, I've been happy about that they got him. I was scared that they're going to treat him like the Eternals.
Yeah,
and
sure.
So especially with his whole release mode, right? As far as his purchase and how that started off, as far as releasing him to the community there, if you wanted to pay for him early, Yeah, that was just some. That probably should be one of my things I haven't put on here as far as worst events. But he actually did not make my list. Um, it's weird, and I guess I feel like I'm cheating a little bit, but I mean, it's all perception as far as on what your top three are. But it's actually this lady right here made my list. No particular order, but she's number two on my list. And I think it's because the usage of that she does that turn rewind. Anything that has like rewind kind of manipulation into it, kind of always nudges me forward as far as favoring them. So that time warp ability that she has on her special is just kind of key. And then she's been part of that arena team for me constantly since she's been out. So I kind of appreciated her and of course Weaver for that aspect together on the arena. Makes for that annoyance. But yeah, she was on my list. Moving over to three, Darth, who's your third?
It's not Morgan Le Fay, and it's not a horseman. It is Zombie Iron Man. And he made my list because of the sheer amount of fun he provides me. And again, unique mechanic. If you have bleed, if the enemy has bleed, they attack the weakest enemy on their turn before they even take a turn. A cool unique mechanic, brings a lot of extra damage. Has the potential to bring like the most extra damage in a game because your opponent's team is hitting scaled off of your opponent's team. So if their Red Hulk smashes somebody, the Red Hulk is really smashing somebody. Or if their Morgan Le Fay targets somebody because she has bleeds and takes, it really, really damages them more than anything on your team could do. It brought a whole new mechanic to a gameplay where your main focus was keeping bleed spread around an entire team, because that was your quickest and easiest way to do it. It just brought a whole new way to play, a whole new thought process in how to take an attack out. And War is one of my favorite game modes, and he is a war god. Crucible is my favorite game mode, and more than you think, he's useful in Crucible just because of what I said, because of that mechanic where if they bleed, they attack each other. That leaves, let's see, I use him a lot on cleanups, on Gamma teams if I don't fully get him all the way. And he's also a single tap team with other characters. Just that mechanic alone and the amount of fun he has provided me in the game made him my number three.
And I laugh because I had a real deep gut feeling that that was going to be on your top three. and I would be on the same page with you as far as putting them on the list. It's just God, I mean this right here, man. The resources and what you got to do. You got to like choose between him and Archangel, basically.
I didn't. I had no other choice when I had that up there. There was no choice. I didn't choose between him and Archangel. I just used the gear where it belonged.
Yeah. So, yeah, I know you
Tell
would
me I
not
chose.
Well, now I'm in that position to choose right now. So
You chose because your Archangel is 16 and you've got 6 pieces. That means you chose.
yeah. Well, I saved it. I didn't go into the 16 like you did, and let alone like now you got some red stars going in on him too, right? So
Yeah, I got 3, and I really want to buy the 4th, but I'm going to get Archangel to 5 first.
yeah. So how about you, Dale? Who do you got on your third spot?
First, I'll say he did choose because I chose not to spend it on Iron Man because I knew Archangel was going
Burn
to
me
do
like
that.
that. You had no idea it was actually going to be Archangel. There was no
It
other
was
character available at the time that needed it.
you knew it was
We,
going to be
we
Archangel.
had rumors. Of course we knew it was going to be, but I don't live in the world of maybe. I live in the world of let's spend it fucking today. All right, sorry, keep going.
My third was Morgan as well.
Okay, cool.
And so many I was really contemplating because I really love War Dogs, and I love 1,000,000, Black Panther, and Nakia. So I was really debating on those, but Morgan's is so impactful. Even though she's not arena now, but I mean, I'm really thinking that the arena meta's gonna switch again with Archangel being, and then once Gamma gets their Scourge, whatever they say they're called, that the Horsemen will be a lot better again. So I think arena may change again.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and I forgot I had even edited this little video over here with them. So yeah, this was all about, I mean, this 2022 and just kind of rounding out with Morgan Le Fay as your third there. The other spot for me that I put on my third spot. I felt like I cheated, right? We're going to two horsemen's. But for me, it was that girl right there. Rogue made my top three. And
I was debating on her too.
yeah, just that opening move and her taunt. I mean, it just feels like you got control of the match that way. And at any time when you're going against those particular characters, you know, and how you got to focus on them to use them too on both sides of it. I mean, I just, you know, I just kind of enjoy the, you know, the abilities that they have. Now, on her, I would say, like, I'm not going all in as far as red stars. I'm stopping at the 5 part because I think she is more kid based. I just kind of had a feeling, and I think Fear mentioned it on our Alliance Discord too about that. So we kind of share the same sentiment because as we kind of go into the whole horseman, and that's how I would just kind of wrap up these top 3 characters, and mainly because, you know, again, 2 to 3 of mine are horsemen. But I've played a little video of it. Now that we have Archangel, how would you kind of grade the 4 horsemen as far as red star priority? Who would be on the top one, you know, for you, Darth?
See, I'm more than I ever thought I would regretting buying the 7-star for Morgan now. And I have to realize that it netted me a bunch of cores when I first did it in Arena to make it worth it, because I would rather have a 6 red star Morgan Le Fay and a 6 red star Red Hulk. And it's funny because both of you guys put Morgan number 1, and then you put Rogue on your list too as the number 2 horseman for the year, and I would have put Red Hulk first. I love Red Hulk. I love Red Hulk's kit. I think he's just an absolute monster, and I enjoy playing with him. And I would love to have him at 6 red stars, and I just don't because I have a 7 red Morgan.
I,
So that's so I'm at Red Hulk, Morgan, Rogue, and probably actually Red Hulk, Morgan, Archangel, and then Rogue would be my priority. Just to 6. I wouldn't take any to 7 right now unless you just had the credits burning up, and then you make that decision for yourself by how much you're playing with them.
boom, you hit it right. That exact order is what I have personally within Red Hulk first, as far as red stars, and then Morgan Le Fay, Rogue, and Archangel. My bad, Rogue last. I'm sorry, Red Hulk,
Yeah.
Morgan Le Fay, Archangel, then Rogue. But it's funny, real quick, as you're just talking about him being your favorite one. I think you like everything to go smash. Your favorite abilities when they die, right? Basically, you're not the kid base person of controlling.
Exactly. You know, I'm going to steal a Heartgrave line. The best status to put on the enemy character is the death status.
Yeah.
It's better than blind. It's better than ability block. It's better than any other negative status you could put on him. The death status wins.
Yeah. No, so I get it. It's funny because I just the tone that you have on some of these characters, I kind of see what piques your interest there with the damage abilities. But for you, Dale, I mean, are you in the same order? If you would give advice to those as far as red star spinning, how would you go about that?
I think so. When we were starting to figure out what Archangel could do, he's already starting to sound crazy with these boosted stars and the red stars. So I think he may be high priority for 6, but I don't have a 6-star, so he won't be a priority for me. I'm definitely gonna put 6 on Red Hulk when his event comes back around. So I only
Mhm.
got 5 on him the first time around.
Yeah, yeah, I'm real anxious for that second run to come through so I can get that fourth because I think on the rewards it still would populate. So I part of my resource management is like I didn't want to buy that fourth red star or fifth red star on him. I've been
That
waiting
makes
for
sense.
another event to come out so that way I can get the freebie of the fourth and then purchase my way up accordingly. So that's what's been going on with him for me. All right. Well, let's jump over to the worst characters that you guys have on y'all's list. And then again, it doesn't have to be in any particular order, but I'll start with you, Dale. If you got that on your list there, who would you say was the worst characters that came across your radar for 2022?
I really had to think about it because I didn't think at first I really didn't think there was really any horrible characters. But I think to me, it's the characters that I put resources in that I regret the most.
Amen.
So my number 1 is Noir Spider-Man because I didn't get the memo that he's not that good. So I brought him all the way up to 90, and he's not impressive at all.
That's interesting because you brought him up. He actually he actually made my list too. So I don't know. Did he make your list, Darth? Before I kind of jump into him.
Yes, he was my number 2 character that on the list. He wasn't the number 1, but he was the number 2.
Yeah, that's funny. All right, cool. So we have the same sentiment there. Yeah, luckily I didn't do
Just
the resource spinning like you did, Dale, so I don't feel it as hard as you do. But it's just
Yeah, I
mine.
really love Crucible, so I was going hardcore on that team.
amen.
And it
Like,
makes me hesitant on going into the hardcore into the next Crucible team, if they're going to be useful or not.
yeah, because they work better without him.
Yeah.
Like they just do. And it's silly that on his team, it works better without him. Now he does do some really cool stuff. Like he may have a use because of his opening maneuver that's so fast and it puts out all those bleeds. I've considered making a hybrid team with him on it, with Zombie Iron Man and Hela, just to get the early bleeds out everywhere.
There you go.
That's a thought I'd had with it. So he may not be completely useless, but just like you, I brought him up. I brought him up to 15 and 90. I think I didn't put any teal gear in him.
Yeah, I didn't put
Um,
Teal Gear in him either.
but yeah, I wished I hadn't. Like he's a character that I could literally have sitting at level 1 and would have changed nothing with the productivity of my account all year long.
All right, so let's jump over to 2 on your list, Dale. Who do you have as the next one?
Number 2 is Madden Pryor.
What? All right, interesting.
Because she's not like it was a rework to a defense team I was excited about because I always liked the team, so I thought it would be really good, and it wasn't. They barely hold against old offenses, and they really are a minor bump to get through on war defense. She doesn't
I'd like.
really have use anywhere else.
Mm.
I was heavily debating on new Asgard characters because they were also a disappointment. I like them, but they're useful in Scourge, so they have the point there, but you're not really happy with them either.
Like the new Asgard characters. I think that Lady Thor's kit is OP. We just don't ever get to use her. I think
Yeah.
flipping all those buffs and doing all those blinds, like I think that's an OP move. And if we got to play with the hero Asgards in our hand more than leave them on, I think we would all feel a little differently. But I
I think so
totally
too.
get your hero
They were fun.
Asgards. I
They
get
were
it.
fun to play with in Scourge.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I like your Madeline Pryor pick, though. You know what I think about Madeline Pryor? They made Madeline Pryor for them. Because
Oh, definitely.
you know who the most damn dangerous character on the raids are when she pops down is a fucking Madeline Pryor. Because if she goes off, she kills your guys.
Yeah.
The
I hate
same
it.
thing about Silver Surfer. We were all excited
Yep.
about Silver Surfer, but he was made to counter us in raids.
Yeah. He's made for Jeff. Man, I feel like Madeline Pryor was made for them. And we just got to use her. And our use for her is not nearly as useful as their use for her.
Yeah. No, that's a
It
good
sucks because
explanation.
her design is amazing. Like she looks
Her,
great.
her kit is great.
Yeah. No,
It
no,
just
your
doesn't do the same
explanation.
for
Yeah,
me.
it doesn't. You're right. I mean, because she's on defense. I mean, we don't. Yeah, we don't see it. So it's definitely good points you brought out. The reason why I kind of chuckled was like, what? I got 7 red on her. You know.
Both of those characters you have 7 red on, Mookie.
Did I have it on the war
I s-
too?
Yeah,
I
you
hope
did.
not. Oh my God, see how
Yeah,
bad I
you
like. I don't
did.
even pay attention to him.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, you have a 7 red on Noir and on Madeline
I
Pryor.
want
Sorry, Namook.
I want to double check, but I can't even find him. That's how bad the characters are. Oh, look, he's right there.
There he
Oh
is.
shit, I do have him on 7 red. Damn. Wow. You made both of those characters feel like minions for me, Dale. But damn. All right. Okay. Damn, I didn't even realize that. That's hilarious.
All right.
Funny, not funny, but all right. So I guess on my list, as far as the worst, I'm trying to find it on my phone here because I have it somewhere else. Um, I actually have Phantom X. Um, yeah, I put Phantom X on here, and damn, by the time I find them, but before I try to find them on here, did you also have Pryor, uh, Darth on your list or no?
No,
No. Okay, cool. So
no.
we're
My
different.
secondary one was, yeah, I have a different guy than both of you, and it was somebody I invested way too heavily in, and also have a 7 red star on.
All right. Well, we'll pause on that then. So it's different. You don't have Phantom X?
I like Phantom X's dodges when he comes out. I know he feels kind of useless, but it's his passive where they spawn with all those dodges
Yeah.
that really helps the team out. Like when I do a mirror match, sometimes I replace Dazzler instead of Phantom X now.
Oh, okay. Yeah, this guy's always getting the boot. And that's one of the reasons why I put him on my list. It's just that for like mirror matches and speed and stuff. I mean, it's
Yeah.
just like I just substitute them for almost, cable. I mean, I throw cable in there sometimes if I use my Emma. Um, but I kind of I like Dazzler and what she does on the barrier stuff. I mean, I kind of look at it in that regards, but I makes sense on dodge too. All right, but who was I'll step away from him then. But who was your second on your list?
I fired on him when he came out, and he's a war offense character. And then I pulled 7 red on him a few months later. Took him to Gear 16 and took him into Dark Dimension City mode. It is Morbius.
You know what? Yeah, he made my list too, just so you know. God damn, I can't even. It's funny with those characters, I don't even know where to find them on that overall map. So I just have to go here, part of the Dark Hunters, right? All right, faster
So I
find.
have 85, Gear 16, all the fun stuff, 7 red stars. He's good 3 times a week, and that's all he's ever been good. He wasn't good in the Scourge that he was good for. He wasn't good for anything else, and he's not that great in war, honestly. You know what he's good for? He's good for putting trauma and heal block on a heroes for hire team. That is literally it. So I thought he was going to help a bunch with, I believe at the time, Pocket Dimension. Our first Pocket Dimension was coming out, and he was a Pocket Dimension character. Didn't need him. Pocket Dimension was a walkthrough joke. And then he was needed for the Scourge, and they were garbage team. They weren't even hardly worth a burn.
Yeah.
And of that, he wasn't. Dr. Voodoo was far more important in that than he was because of his big health steal and things like that, and the ability block. He was far more important than Morbius was, even in the Scourge part. So yeah, for me, he was my number 2 character. And like Dale said, it's the ones that you put way too much investment into, and you didn't get nearly the use you thought you were going to out of.
Yeah, this team made my 2 and 3. I actually put Voodoo as part of that, but it's kind of more the concept that you keyed on that they're only good 3 times a week. So, yeah, those were the other two on my list as far as the worst characters. I think we ran through yours, Dale, right? You ready to do your second, or did I?
I don't know. I know they're not the best, but I like playing with my Dark Hunters.
Yeah, yeah,
Well, yeah, but I mean, I like playing with them too, but they're too. They need a city team, like for them to work properly, at least in war. For him to come out and blind everybody for their first turn, it's got to be a full city team. And the only other full city team we really see on defense is like Web Warriors.
Yeah.
And they're who the hell wants to waste your Dark Hunters on a Web Warriors?
True.
all right.
Maybe they'll be good because I keep on seeing those Web Warriors with Weaver in them. Maybe they'll be a good counter for them.
Well, Weaver's a global character, and I think that it
Uh-huh.
has to be 5 city characters in order for Morbius to blind.
Yeah.
So that it just takes out that whole first wave not being able to hit you.
Mhm. All right, well, we'll transition over to the next part of our 2022 review. What I have on here on our notes to jump into is going to be the best events, and then we'll kind of all talk about the worst events. So when we talk about events, for me, it can go in just different layers, whether it's milestone events or campaign events or whatever new release character events. But I kind of went in towards like game modes in regards to what the best was for me. And it was just the introduction of, how they brought up Apocalypse and how this whole thing came out that I really enjoyed the Scourge aspect of releasing those legendary characters. Um, so it's kind of within the best for me was having that Scourge concept. And I'll just kind of round up mine and let you gentlemen talk too, but also kind of making my notes here was about the Cosmic Crucible. Um, I don't know. I wrote Avengers Tower. Um, it's not my favorite one amongst those two, but I do appreciate it more. The more recently that I've been playing it, I kind of see where Darth has a lot of fun on Avengers Tower. But for me, it's been the Scourge and how the Apocalypse was being introduced to the game, and the Cosmic Crucible gameplay. I've been starting to enjoy that more because it's just 1v1 format and just really kind of theory crafting on what counters you're going to do and how efficient you can play the game. So I've been appreciating that game mode. But swinging it over to you, Darth. I mean, what is the best events that you have listed there?
Um, had the Scourge modes on there because for me they brought a total like huge amount of fun. And I went micro like you did. I didn't think of individual like character release events and things like that. Like I don't I didn't care so much extra for any of them. I kind of liked the Dark Beast release, and I kind of hated the 2099 orbs in the monthly release. But like that didn't affect my gameplay to the point where I just had to put them on the list. So for me, my favorite game event is every time they bring Tower around. You said it. You put Tower on the list, and I know why you did because you knew I would say it.
Probably, yeah.
I love Tower. Personally, I think that Tower is the best test of your complete roster. There's no better complete roster test out there than Tower mode. Um, that's it's why you play the game. Like that's why I play the game. That's why I build up so many characters. It's fun to play them in war and everything else, but Tower mode is the correct amount of difficulty as you scale up your levels with the correct amount of fun. At the end levels, it almost kind of feels like some of those Scourge nodes did, where you're just trying anything you can, mixing and matching. But the difference is you only get one shot. You can't reset and try it 500 times until you get the RNG just right. You got one shot to get it done, or you can try tomorrow with that team, or you can pick something else and try again. And I really like that pick something else and try again aspect because it really makes you theory craft and come up with some really cool ideas for what to do.
Yeah.
So it is my most favorite event that ever comes around, and I'm excited that it's coming around in just a few days.
Yeah. And then swinging over to you, Dale. What do you have up on your list?
Same as you, it was definitely Scourge. A lot of fun this year. I was trying to think because I remember there was a couple events throughout the year I thought were really good events, but I just couldn't remember
Yeah.
anything that really stood out.
Yeah.
I think I am starting to sway on the winter event. Initially, it was really bad because you couldn't buy anything in the store the first week. But I think overall, it's a good event. You just can't fall in the trap of the characters up at the top, I feel. There's a
Yeah.
lot of ways to bring up characters that were close to the next star that you really can't farm. Out of that, it was pretty decent.
Glad you brought that up because that was one of the things I meant to bring up previously. The last time we got together here is about like what are you using these presents for and targeting. So you kind of talk about the second row right here, right? Dale, is kind of where you're
Yeah,
getting the usage, like you get more value out of the presents and the characters you can, find on here.
yeah, I was able to bring up Deathlock to 6 stars, bring up Sunfire to 6 stars, and a couple other characters as well. So
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty useful, and I'm trying to get back up to 1.75 to get a Nemesis, but I'm not sure. We'll see how I end up in the event. So normally I can do a 6 star out of the campaign events.
You're not
Unless the
spinning towards
RNG is
Noir?
really bad. No. The calendar just gave me my 5th star on him.
I'm
That's
2 shards
nice.
away from that 5th star. 2 shards.
Hmm.
But for what?
But
I bought the Nemesis shards the first time they came around. I had enough credits to do that. But literally my event for Nemesis, I normally get pretty good pulls. I didn't go as hard because I didn't have as many cores as I did for the Nakia event. So I toned it down to only spending the 50s again. But I'm feeling that my orbs are just not super good. Like I'm
Yeah.
glad that I got the 50 because it pushed me up to 5 star way earlier than I would have been.
I'm
So
pushing on it because surprisingly the orb is one of the better ones.
it's
Just
got Dark
because,
Beast in it.
yeah, it has Dark Beast in it. That's why I'm still pushing. We already got him past 5 stars, so that's good. But yeah, the Dark Beast being in there, it's like the first time they've really had a new character in one of these orbs that I can remember.
yeah. No, I like this event too. So I like the way you brought up the this particular one. But yeah, there's like every week there's some events and it's just too hard to try to remember all of that. Even the worst of it, I've even forgotten some of those. But that's kind of where I'll transition towards, it's towards the worst events. I mean, what do you have to say about that on your list there, Darth?
Worst event to come to Marvel Strike Force is the repeating coordinated assault. It's worse than Thanos giving. It's worse than the cyber turkeys. It's worse than your snowball event. It's worse than orbs for your monthly character. It's the worst. It is the worst because it is a continual, never-ending grind fest on your ISO energy. And for me, it's not so bad. But as the leader of an alliance, um, man, I want to get those last rewards, and I want to get them to every single person out there because we're an alliance that has some sweaty tryhards and has some relatively casual players. And keeping the delicate balance of keeping everybody happy in that, not pushing the casual guys too hard, and not letting down the sweaty players is a hard balance. And I think we're obtaining it. It's just having to do it every other week is a lot on me. I hate having to look at it and hate having to look at our leaderboard, seeing who's at the bottom, and then deciding is it worth sending them a direct message or do I just let it slide and put in some more myself? I hate that part. So coordinated assault is the worst.
Yeah, I got you. What do you have on your list, Dell? Anything?
The Gambit event.
Yeah.
Ooh, I want to talk about that.
So for a long time, that was a sore subject before he showed up in the Crucible store, because he was such a low star and by far one of the best characters of the year. And it was combos with the change to the offer that basically you got half of the charge you normally would have got for $50. That was absolutely horrible upon itself. And then the raid was so convoluted. I mean, the raid was sort of fun, but you basically got no shards for him at all. He was the best character of the year. And so for a long time, it was hard to get shards for him. But thankfully, they put him in the Crucible in the Crucible store, and that makes it a lot better. But the event was horrible
Yeah, that
and weird. I don't. It makes no sense they would put that much work into a raid they only won once.
That's the answer right there. Why did they only run it once? They could have kept him out of every single store that they ever made. Kept the Gambit raid a once a month, 1 week long release, just like and put it in the rotation with the other 3 Gamma orbs, or with the Greek raids, to run alongside your Doom raids, and then it would have made much more sense. Because
That
then
would
they didn't waste all that effort creating a whole raid to run it for 2 weeks and then never look at it again.
it's a really weird choice. And if they would have done that, that would have made it more palatable to people.
Exactly. Then they would know they could get their 20 shards a month or whatever, or however many, 50 shards a month or whatever you could get out of your thing. Yeah. But I liked the idea, which is why I couldn't put it on the worst event. Like, I like the idea of creating a new raid with new raid lanes needing new characters, and then having to use them to obtain orbs to open to get the featured character. But you can't run it just once.
Yeah, I mean, that was a good idea, and it was just the combo, everything they did with it made it the most greedy character they released this year. 'Cause they knew everyone wanted Gambit.
Even more
They
than
knew,
Zombie Iron Man? Was it more
yeah.
greedy than the Iron Man offers, you think?
The problem with the problem with Iron, I was very hateful on Iron Man. The problem was they didn't communicate. If they would have communicated what his release was going to be, how easy it was to be unlock him, it wouldn't have been as bad. But Iron Man had the same as that type of offer that Gambit had, where it was like double. I mean, $50 for half the shard you would normally get. I mean, you find out you really didn't need that many stars on him because he's amazing at 3 stars. But it does annoy me I don't have 4 stars on him. I hate not using characters in Red Star Blitz.
No, that was a good breakdown. It's funny how you talked about Gambit, he isolated on there. My worst thing about events overall is just kind of the same concept, but it's just how the recent, character releases have been as far as the pricing. I don't, my research doesn't go that deep as far as seeing the trends as far as pricing goes, but it felt as if it jumped this year. I know when we played, like the pricing of a new character coming out used to be around the $25 US range.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then it jumped over to $50. And then
Mr.
like
Sinister. I remember exactly when it jumped to $50.
it was
It was
Sinister.
Mr. Sinister. Mhm.
Okay, so then that was last
Well,
year or
I know
2 years ago.
when it really jumped because it annoyed me and I didn't buy the offer because of it. So when Namor came out, it was the first time there was two $50 offers in a patch. Previous to that, it was one $50 offer, and then the rest were 20. And since the Namor, it started going up and up and up. Now, pretty much, you're lucky if you get one $20 offer. Okay. Even if they're only 45 shard unlocked, they're still a $50 offer, which is weird.
Like the last $25 offer, I think, was Kate Bishop. I mean, that's just being real. And the only reason I can remember that is because I was not going to buy it. And then it came out as $25 and I bought one.
Yeah, it's just overall like the changes or updates and what they've been doing within the store. That's
The
kind of
second,
where it just kind of hit me. It's just like, I mean, when you see these $100 offers way too frequent, but I know people are buying it and that's why they put it there. But it's just when you're on that web store, how long it takes to kind of go through everything. It's just like, man, I don't know.
back
It
up to the
just,
top of that, just
yeah,
to the top.
okay.
Okay, click those offers. Click that offer. I just want to talk about this for a second. The secondary offers for characters used to be $20 for 5 orbs, and that was it. You got 5. That was your secondary offer. So it wound up being $4 an orb for your secondary offers, which was just a little more expensive than your primary offers. If you'll look at this, they're trying to give you 6 orbs for $40, or 55 characters for the same $40. That is worse, so much worse. Uh, that is where I feel that their pricing has really changed, because I think that because of the pushback that people like me would give them if they changed their original offers too much. If I didn't get 55 shards and 8 orbs for $50, I might not buy it if they mess with that too much. So what they've done is they've messed with these secondary offers to the point where I got zero interest. It doesn't matter how close I am to a star. I'm not paying that much for extra character shards. So what they've done, it feels like, is milk the krakens, not the whales per se, or not the spenders. So people like us, I can't speak for everybody, but I buy one character comes out, and that's what I've budgeted myself for the game. I used to occasionally buy a secondary offer. If I was close, if I got lucky, I would occasionally spend the extra $20, but they've basically taken that away. So the people that have to have them at 7 stars right away, they've just charged them an extra 30% or whatever to get there. And the people like us just don't get that anymore because they've now outpriced us.
Yeah. Yeah, I just the way they've been pushing it, and I know there's some manipulation behind the whole FOMO that's also behind this too. Like just everything just feels dirty, and I feel it. And I'm not gonna play that game to chase it. Even within the milestones, that's kind of like my 1A, 2B, 1A, 1B. In regards to like the milestone events and want to complete them, it's like pay to complete now. We're just kind of looking over this whole, what was it, this gift wrap gala right here. We're talking about chasing this one, like being this is like the should be free to spend, free to play milestone to hit. But then, they kind of put these other kind of luring offers here, like the 200K present at the very end, to chase that would be outrageous. So it's that kind of, mechanics that they're adding on here, and that, FOMO aspect on top of adding pricing to it. That's overall. And I feel like it's growing. And that's just kind of where I'm getting at, is that it feels like it's been growing. They got that web store going on. The list is getting larger and larger. And it's kind of squeezing me out into kind of, being more mindful. Like I'm not chasing that. That's why I kind of look at some of the events now that I don't even dig deep into the math of like, oh, what I need to chase. It's just more, I'm going about my gameplay casually the way I play, and whatever I land, I land. I'm not even interested in trying to complete a milestone anymore. So that kind of goes into, the predictions. We'll move over, step away from the worst, and start kind of trying to look on the bright side of things a little bit in regards to 2023. So as far as the predictions of 2023, I cheated a little bit. I kind of looked, of course, when you cheat, you kind of look into Tana, Mimble, and I apologize. I know there's a third person that's out there that kind of goes into the theory crafting, but What I had saw as far as on what's coming to play, as far as predictions, I think in March, I didn't put the timeline, I think it's March. They're talking about the Guardians of the Galaxy being a rework. But the more true rumor, because they even have, and gosh, I wish I had, yeah, I took it away. I don't I looked at it last night, so I don't have a screenshot available, but it's about the Masters of Evil. I think that's what's going to be coming out almost like the next patch coming in January. You're going to see an Ultron rework along with Titania, and there's probably going to be some other characters around that team. So Ultron's going to have his own team. But the bigger predictions of rumors of, I guess, of more important predictions, it's like chasing like a next boss mode. Is it going to be No or Mephisto? So that's kind of what I had on my notes. I'll jump over to Dell because I know Dell kind of looks into some of these videos a little bit. But what did you have on your notes as far as, did you have anything as far as predictions or what you've been hearing for 2023?
Well, the Titania is part of this patch, but
Oh, she is?
yeah.
All right.
Last character this patch. She's at the bottom there.
Ah, okay. Well, there you go. And there's the Masters of
So
Evil.
it
Okay.
should definitely be next patch. I think the Guardians of the Galaxy is a strong possibility with the third movie coming out.
Mhm.
But the next thing should be, I would think, is hopefully a Pimtech rework. And then
What?
with that, you Kang's part of that movie. So he might be the next big bad. I'm not sure. And MODOK is supposed to be in that movie as well.
Hmm.
They may do some of AIM. They may make him part of the Masters of Evil because he has been part of the Masters of Evil before.
Okay. Cool. And then what do you have, Darth? Or do you want to add on to anything or questions?
Hopes. That's what I had. I don't look into that stuff. I pick my own hopes and wants and desires. So my hope is for 2 more Secret Avengers or 1 more Secret Avenger
That'd be cool.
in the next few months. Not a whole team. I don't want to build a whole skill team. You got a 3-piece team that works super, super good. With Castro, they work super good. So I need 1 or 2 more characters on that Secret Avenger team to round out the skill section of Doom 3.4 and 5 and things like that, because that's one of the harder sections where RNG sometimes just hammers me in the skill section, and I have to spend more health refreshes and things like that there than I do in any other section right now, including bio. We have a new bio team coming out right now. So I'm hoping that we just get 1 or 2 more Secret Avenger characters to round out this team, to make them the skill raid team that we need. And I'm hoping the reason that they hadn't released them so early is because they would blow away everything else that it was set for. I'm hoping that this team was created with 2 more members in mind for future raids when it was dropped. Because even those 3 characters, I remember when the Secret Avengers were dropped, they made the skill nodes, which were the hardest at the time, very, very easy. So I'm hoping they can just expand on that a bit.
Yeah.
As far as release, I want to, as far as my predictions, I don't have a prediction, but I want to discuss if they're going to do another big bad and do it like Apocalypse over another year. Are we going to go back to regular legendaries? And if we do, what do we think those legendary release methods will be like? Or are they going to be mini Scourge events? Are they going to be sagas? Or is it going to be the old kind of events that rotate every 6 months or whatever, where you have to have 5x amount of characters at this gear level and star level?
Yeah, I mean, it's a
So what do
come.
you?
I mean, hopefully, I don't know. I mean, on my side of it, I hope that it stays within this whole Scourge aspect and just kind of building it and getting character by character to unlock the next big bad boss.
I hope so too. It's fun and it's more meaningful than old legendary reworks. Unlocks you.
Yeah. The one thing I don't want, which I have seen on Mobile Gamers offer review occasionally when he talks about the comparison to Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. I don't know if you still play that, Darth, but
I do.
apparently there's like 2 options of bosses that you can go for, and you have to choose one or the other.
When they started it, yes, they did. They gave you 2 Galactic Legends at once, and they were both very hard to achieve. And you could basically only choose one at a time to get to it, unless you were the Tadano Mac of Galaxy Heroes, you want getting them both immediately.
Hmm. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, so that's the part I'm like, I hope they don't cherry pick that idea, and as they have with a lot of other ideas. I mean, so you never know, and I think that's why Mobile Gamer kind of brings that up because of the similarity of the game modes. So, but yeah, hopefully not. I mean, I like the pace as far as just going with one at a time. I mean, shit, this one took a full year, right? I mean, so why not keep it that way with the next one? But we don't have any control of what they want to do and how they kind of control the dollar aspect of it. What would be more advantageous to them is what the end answer is going to be.
Mhm.
But let's swing over towards individually, like self reflection now at this point in time, and just kind of thinking about as we round out the year and moving forward to those little predictions and optimisms that we have with Secret Avengers, which I really like that point that you brought up, Darth, because we do need a skill team. And what better skill team than those three, right? There's two open slots available. Um, but it's just talking about just our game style and what we're going to do individually and continuing to play MSF. Are we going to continue to play this? Are we going to change any styles or habits? I guess I'll jump over to you, Dale. I don't know if you kind of self-reflected a little bit, but how do you see yourself playing MSF in 2023?
I think if they go to more shady offers, I'm gonna go for more over to the free to play aspect. And mostly I just buy characters now, and I think that may change. I don't know. The big thing for me is I'm getting married this year, so
Hey, congrats.
uh, thanks.
Congratulations, Dell.
Yeah,
That's a big deal. That's a good reason to go free to play. I won't kick you
yeah.
out, I promise.
And I share the same sentiment with you. I think I'll kind of jump off of it because it's similar concept. It's funny, Dale. Like every time I think I want to join this alliance, man, like we've always been like even on TCP, like we kind of had the same philosophy as far as on what our gameplay style is. But even just kind of looking into this whole like, I don't even pay attention to collection power, but I remember like you and I always kind of being right there, you know, yeah, we're right
Mhm.
there next to each other. But it's that, yeah, you hit it, man. I think the whole spinning thing is starting to take a toll on me. Um, it's just more of an annoyance. Like if I keep seeing the trends of where they're getting at as far as squeezing us, like you mentioned it earlier, Darth, as far as them squeezing the Krakens, but it kind of works its way down. I mean, they're gonna start squeezing the next thing that they can do, which will kind of eventually start falling into where I'm at. And I'm like, nah, man. So I'm
Think
just, yeah, I just feel like I'm not gonna stop playing the game. I enjoy the game. I enjoy everything about it. Shit, the camaraderie behind it within our Lions groups, and look at us on Sundays or today's Saturday. But all of that aspect is what kind of weighs heavily more on me staying and what I appreciate within the game itself. But the changes for me within 2023 is just more about individual style as far as like, do I, do I want to chase or do that FOMO aspect of things? It's kind of like I have to draw a line as far as how far do I want to push that. Because, I mean, if these offers start jumping up to like $75 now for a new character release and stuff like that, it's like, I'm not about that. But that's kind of where I'm at. But I'm still going to continue to play. I'm looking forward to new game modes. I'm looking forward into seeing you guys go at it, Varric and Darth and Big Mac, all of y'all just kind of chasing like all that stuff. I enjoy it. And I enjoy our alliance overall just because we're not feeling forced to play a certain style. And that's just kind of the end of it all. And what I would just say is that because of our styles and alliance, it makes me feel comfortable where I don't feel like I'm being phased out or forced to play a certain way that's uncomfortable. So I don't know. For you, Darth, I mean, how would you reflect or moving forward into 2023?
hoping that their little Gambit release offers and their Zombie Iron Man release offers that extra sucked were a test to see if they could raise that base price of $50 for 55 shards and 8 orbs. And the minute they raise that price, I'm done buying new characters. I'm not going to tell you I'm going to be free to play, but I'm certainly not going to be looking into buying one of every character at that point. I'm at the apex of what I'm willing to spend. Um, so that being said, I will not spend any more next year than I spent this year. And if they mess with my prices, I'm probably going to spend a hell of a lot less. Um, But who knows if they're going to do that? I hope that their test runs came out very negative because the community had very negative feedback about it, and I hope that people told them with their wallets and didn't buy. Now, I didn't do that. I just took less shards for the same money because that's the kind of guy I am. I wanted my toy right now. But I'm gonna play. I love the game. I'm excited for the least, like, my favorite game mode is probably the least favorite game mode of most people in the game, tower mode. Uh, that's how addicted I am to it. I love Scourge mode. I love the grind of Scourge mode. Um, I'm gonna keep playing. I think the game in the last year has exponentially added to the fun that I had a year ago. A year ago, I'd never experienced Scourge. I hadn't experienced Cosmic Crucible. Basically, all I had were raids, war, and blitz. The game has become so much more in 2022, and I honestly hope they only expand on that because I do plan on playing, and even if it's at a free-to-play pace, that's the plan. Because of the amount of joy that I get regularly from this game daily. If I didn't get joy daily from this game, I wouldn't play it daily. So I'm sure that my addiction will keep me on it for at least another year. You know, I don't think the game is going to collapse. And like Mobile Gamer, I like to pull a lot of Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes and superimpose it on top of what's happening in Marvel Strike Force. And I know that Galaxy Heroes is 2 years older and is still going strong. So that's my hope, is that I can squeeze at least 2 more years out of Marvel Strike Force as well.
Yeah. No. Well said. I mean, and I saw something as I kind of wrap up the whole 2023 future amongst us individually. Saw something with Boylan, right? He comes with the hot takes and what after the Scourges to kind of look into the numbers about are people leaving the game or people staying and all that kind of stuff. I don't know. I mean, that's a different type of thing to dig down deep into numbers. What is it? I don't know. I mean, we don't have the overall, numbers out there, but it doesn't feel as if the game's going away. I guess that's what I'm trying to get at. It's kind of funny, like when he comes up with the videos like that, coming up with the conversations as far as like, yeah, this game's trash. Look at the numbers, how it's going down. You hit on it. I think I had the most fun this year within all the different game styles that came through. It definitely had more entertainment for me, more engagement that way. So I'm looking forward. I mean, the raids, become mundane. But I think if they kind of, and I, talking about chaos earlier, when he was talking about like some type of horde mode or something, there's always something there that can kind of revamp the excitement there that I'm optimistic that they will find and do for us. So I think they did hit it this year. And tower mode, I joke about it. I mean, I do appreciate. I see everything. The way you broke it down as far as the test of your roster is just on point. I mean, that's the truth of it. And some people can scale higher than others based on their roster. Some can't. But it's just tower mode, right? It's individual. You're not chasing anybody else. So I appreciate that mode. But yeah. So anyways, I guess what I'm getting at, I'm just optimistic about it overall. I definitely will continue to keep playing. And I'm going to transition into just things that are on the horizon as we close it out here. So we have the next month-long guy. It's a Super Patriot. That was one of the things I don't like are these month-long characters. But, I mean, if it's free-to-play friendly in that regards, then I'm with it. But it just feels like a drag to go through all these milestones, especially when you're adding the one that we just talked about with Coordinated Assault, kind of getting in the mix of it. So we do have that coming up on January 7th is your Coordinated Assault. Start doing the saving that we're trying to give some advice to. And yeah, so we got that coming up on the 7th, which is next Saturday. And then the other thing to kind of be mindful of or excitement for was what we just said, Avengers Tower. So that's coming up on January 3rd. So we have the Avengers Towers coming up. And that was the two big news really off of that. I'm not going to go into the whole, I mean, this has been a long video. So all the other events and milestones happening in between for the US agent, you can read it on the blog post there. But as we wrap it up, I'll just, like to say again, thank you to you two gentlemen. Appreciate everything you do for our alliance, first and most importantly. But you just add the cherry on top when y'all get together with me on the weekends and just kind of pick each other's brains and just kind of digest everything that we're doing within the game mode. So again, I truly, truly, truly appreciate you guys. So thank you. And I hope that you two gentlemen have a wonderful New Year's with your families, with your friends, congrats, Dell, on the news about your upcoming wedding. So that's a big deal. And I don't know any advice. The only advice I can give to you as an early guy getting ready to get married is a happy wife is a happy life. So always remember that. But yeah, no, I
It's such a
appreciate y'all.
stupid rhyme, but it's so true. It's so true. It's the most truthful, stupid little rhyme you'll ever hear.
Yeah, it is, dude. So I kind of have to live by that. So, but yeah, so I appreciate you guys, and I appreciate you too on YouTube, the Twitch channels. You know, I know I'm not a frequent person that uploads a lot of stuff, but I get some of the positive feedback, and everybody enjoys our conversations that we have. You know, that's feedback that I get, and that's really testament to you two guys back in return. So, thank you guys for taking the time of even watching us. So, thank you, YouTubers and Twitchers. That being said, we'll wrap it up here for damage control and try to get together next Sunday and just kind of restart the new year, see what's on the horizon at that point. I'll take it easy. Happy New Year's again. Bye bye.
New Year.